Hi guys, welcome to another watercolor tutorial. This is going to be a farm painting, kind of a farm, not a farm, a field. That's what I wanted to say. So I'm gonna grab this bluish gray that I have and water it down. And I'm gonna paint it on the top, let's see, I would say top half of my painting. And then I'm gonna switch brushes. Gosh, I don't even know what color to use for this part. Let's try like this bluish green. And then basically paint that across the horizon line. And let that spread upwards nicely. And I'm going to take like a lime or a light green and paint. I'm gonna try to leave like these little white gaps at the horizon line intentionally to make it look a little bit more abstract in a way. And then go downwards like this. And then I'm going to take brown, like a brownish orange. Actually, this is the one time that my brown being kind of orange is working out. Usually I have to add black to not make it orange looking, but I want more of a like a Prince Edward Island soil type of feel here. And I'm just plopping that down. In fact, I'll just fill this section in. And one thing I should have done is not painted the tire tracks, but what are you gonna do? So now I have to lift off the paint. So I wanted to have tire tracks that kind of go like this. And like this. And what you can do, if you paint in your bathroom like I do, or if you just have toilet paper, which I'm sure most people do. If you're watching this, you probably have toilet paper, because I'd be a little concerned if you had internet but no toilet paper. Actually, no, when I was in like rural Africa, like I think it was Zambia, we came across this, I wouldn't even call it a village. It was this building in the middle of the desert. And there were so many men with super expensive smartphones there. And I'm just thinking, what do you guys need the internet for? Like, there's nothing here. Like, there wasn't even a straw hut within a 50-kilometer radius. So that isn't my original point of if you have internet, then you have toilet paper. Not true. Because you could be a Tanzanian man in the middle of the desert, and God knows why you need a smartphone, but now I know, like, I don't know if any of you guys have ever gotten these random messages from foreign individuals. Now I know where they're coming from because I saw it firsthand. Anyway, I like how these tire tracks worked out. I'm just adding like a little border to them, so it's very obvious. And I want to add, like, it's definitely not greenery, but some sort of vegetation around the tire tracks. Not around, but surrounding. And you can be, because this is supposed to be abstract, I don't know if I mentioned that, you can be very loose with your brush strokes. Just try not to get anything on your tire tracks unless it's intentional. Oh, the other thing I want to mention about that story in Africa is, like I said, this building was in the middle of the freaking desert. There was nothing around, and there were like at least 36 men just with these ultra expensive smartphones. And then there was a car selling, I think it was an internet plan. And I don't know why I didn't ask somebody like what is going on, because that was the most random thing I've ever seen. Maybe they all knew that this car selling these data plans was going to be coming, and so they all gathered in this one area. I have no idea. I don't know what was going on. Strange, super strange. If somebody knows, if you're one of those African men and you're watching this video, enlighten me. Why do you have a smartphone that is 3 times the price of mine? What do you use it for? And no, it's not that I'm like uncultured here. I'm very aware that certain parts of Africa are very developed. But like I said, we were in the middle of the desert. There was nothing. There was nothing. It was a very strange sight. Anyways, where are we now in my little painting here? Okay, right. So I forgot to paint the vegetation. I'm gonna grab a bit of green here. It doesn't matter what shade. Use whatever green you have laying around. We're gonna be adding black anyways to darken it. So, I'm gonna add green here. It's gonna be like this bush or whatnot, whatever you want it to be. The good old days when I did so much traveling. I am so happy with how I spent my 20s. I had a very productive young adult life, I would say. I'm still a young adult, but my 20s were well lived. They were lived to the fullest. I think I traveled to like, I don't know, 40 countries. I met my husband. We got married. We had a baby. We bought a house. But I lived like a whole life before all that settling down. Like I traveled so much, both by myself and with my husband once I met him. What is my point? What is the point to this tangent? I don't know. Africa was an interesting trip. That was I was happy to be home, I would say. Like it was an enjoyable trip, but I think it's because I met my husband right before I went on that trip. So traveling suddenly just felt really bland and not fun, because I had experienced, like, I loved traveling by myself until I met my husband. Because, you know, you didn't have to wait on anyone. You didn't have to, like, if somebody else is hungry, you have to stop whatever, you know, you're doing to go so that you guys can go and eat. And they have to like what they're eating. And you have to stop if someone has to go to the bathroom. And I was very selfish in my travels, and I just did not have the patience or the, like, care to deal with that. So I largely traveled alone. Like, there were periods of time where I'd meet someone and we'd travel for a little bit, and then we'd go our separate ways again, either because like we just had different plans or whatnot. Like, I had a couple people that I traveled with for an extensive period of time that I just met because they were awesome people and I had a lot of fun with them. But once, none of them were like, all of those other people other than my husband, after we were parting ways to go like do whatever we wanted to do in regards to traveling, I never felt like, oh, I miss that person. It was always like, all right, great, I'm on my own again, and let's go have some fun. And with my husband, it was not like that. Like, traveling with him was so much freaking fun. And it really sucked when we parted ways. And yeah. Luckily, we didn't stay apart for too long. And luckily, my husband was very persistent. Here we're painting on patches of land. So this, like, grid structure, not structure, but parcels of land. That's what I wanted to maybe say. So, and then I don't know if this is gonna come out before the tutorial I talk about watching Outlander, before or after, but in one of the tutorials I mentioned that my husband and I started watching Outlander, which is a show. It's an English show, I believe, based in 1700s in Scotland. And it just brought me back. Like, I love shows like that. The other one is Poldark. That's another one, similar kind of storyline. Not storyline, but also set in, I don't know if it's the 1700s or the 1800s, but it's just, it brings me back to the trip that we took in Ireland. That ultimately was the trip that kind of solidified my husband and I as a couple, and it was just such good memories, such wonderful memories. All that is to say, I lived my 20s very well. I'm very happy, and now we've settled down, and I am painting on a Tuesday night instead of making myself muffins. I would like to eat some muffins, but it is too late now because it is 8:30. So by the time they're done, it'll be 9:30, and that's like past my bedtime. So another day. Okay, where are we here? Technically we could stop here, but something's missing in the sky, and I know what it is. It's clouds. I forgot to paint the clouds when the sky was still wet. That is my mistake. What I'm going to do is do a little bit of splatter, and I know people question why I even do this. and I do it because I like it. Whoops. I'm just covering a part, like the top part of my painting, so it doesn't splatter brown onto it. That is good. Okay, now I have to put something, in the sky. So what am I gonna put in the sky? Birds is usually my default. I can't put deciduous trees here, it just doesn't make sense. And I mean, evergreens even more so. So birds is the default. Or a plane, a hot air balloon. Now that's something I could entertain, but no, I'm not gonna do that. You can paint as many birds as you want. I chose 4, but I'm gonna leave it at that. Not every painting has to be overcomplicated. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and I will be sure to see you in the next one.